Boys, girls, all of my trumbaholics, and all this Lightenites out there, welcome back to Other Robert I, of course, and the other in Other Robert, and that's the Robert in Other Robert. I'm talking Joe and Rob here. Rob, how you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for that solid introduction, Joe. Thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm superb because we have
I'm
The Walking Dead, and it was a superb episode, Rob.
Yes, I was gonna say you're superb. That episode was superb. It was long, but it was good. It was a good episode. Very, very, very good.
It was
I
long.
liked
It was long, and I was afraid that we would feel that, but I
Yes.
thought it was paced very, very well. I think really what worked in its benefit here was the two stories being told at the same time gimmick they had going on with the black and
Yes.
white and the color.
Yeah. The flashbacks in comparison to what was happening in the present day, I thought was really great for storytelling. I thoroughly like that. I wasn't a fan, as I was telling you about the actual black and white. I figured on a show that's so well off, they could have made the past scenes in another way besides just clicking the black and white in their editors. But I thoroughly loved what we learned in the past and in the present, and just the way the episode ended overall. I thought it was really great.
Well, Walking Dead has done black and white before for marathons and gimmicks like that. I've always liked how it looked with The Walking Dead. I thought like it always fit the show so well, better than it probably should. I know.
I think I can see that. I think I can see why you would say that, because it kind of has it gives it like that horror feel to it, a more sort of a classic feel to it.
Yes,
Would that be it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I
So
can see that.
So I like that they actually incorporated it into an episode and contrasted that with the color. I know you're saying you don't like it as much. I want them to do it more often. Maybe not every episode, but I want to see this again.
Well, the thing is, I don't remember too many episodes of The Walking Dead that have synonymous present and past events happening. So I feel if they go in that route, it would work quite well.
Right, especially it all tied together. It all came full circle at the end in terms of this episode, and it wrapped up nicely. For a story of one episode, the journey that we went on for this one episode was tremendous. And what they accomplished in this one episode was fantastic and completely just brought us all back into the Walking Dead season.
Yeah, it definitely did. How to word it lightly. I had issues with season 5. It was very up and down. It was very peaks and valleys for me. And I didn't think I would. I thought this episode would be it for me. I said I would watch it. And then after I watched it, you could take care of it from now on. And if you want to talk about it, I'm talking about it for the rest of the season. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly liked it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into some of the nitty-gritty details of it.
Yes, so we start off with Alexandria pretty much right where we left off. Meanwhile, we're also seeing what's going on in the present with them doing this whole big this plan of theirs, which is so large in scale, and it felt like the biggest Walking Dead episode ever because of how large in scale it really was.
It was large in scale. I think it had the most amount of walkers we've ever seen on the show.
Yeah, they said it on Talking Dead. 1,000.
1,000. That's crazy. That's so many people too. Imagine how many. I can't even imagine what it was like to film that with over 1,000 people.
Yeah, and what I'm curious about is the way it ended. It seems like we might get that in the second episode too. I mean, it didn't end where you go like, oh, okay, those walkers are gone. No, those walkers still seem.
No, those walkers are there. They're
still
coming.
there.
They're coming. Oh yeah, they're coming for you, or for the Alexandrian people, and which it looks like that's going to be happening in the next episode from the trailer for quite a bit.
They've done. I think. I know I had heard some complaints last season about how Alexandria community, how many of the people felt very wishy-washy and kind of felt like stereotypes of what you'd expect. And in this episode, we kind of got that a little bit more. However, we got some established characters amongst the community of Alexandria. And we also got the new introduction of Heath, which I enjoyed very much. I love this guy. I really enjoyed his debut here. What did you think of Heath?
I thought Heath was really funny. I thought all the characters that they introduced had their moments, but then when my least favorite character died, I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed. Yes, someone died in this episode. Shocking. Someone dies in The Walking Dead.
And they turn out to be the surprised member on Talking Dead. So,
Was he? I didn't
yeah,
watch that. That's funny.
yeah. But yeah, the writing I think was some of the best we've seen in this episode because it juggled so much. It juggled Alexandria. It juggled Rick's crew. It juggled Rick and Morgan. It juggled two conflicting storylines going on, and it told the story over the course of an hour and a half. They want to pace it, and there's always deleted scenes and everything. But this one, it felt like there couldn't have been too many scenes to be deleted. It seemed like they really wanted. They really
No, I don't think in this particular episode. I mean, because if you any release of The Walking Dead always comes with like at least 13 deleted scenes. This
Right.
because it got that extra half an hour, it wouldn't have a deleted scene. At least I can't imagine what they would cut from it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this felt like every scene mattered. This felt like this was made for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. No, I get that.
They really used their time wisely, and the pacing was great in that regard. And we got a little bit of everything, and all the stories were juggled nicely. What do you think in that regard?
I have to say, I like that we got to see every character that from last season again. I liked what was going on with Abraham in the car. I thought that was pretty funny when he decides to go out and bring the walkers back, because him, Sasha, and Daryl are leading all the walkers away. Then obviously the whole fiasco happens with that horn at the end of it. But I really liked that with them, and then how Abraham asked Sasha, "Are you doing this to die?" Because last season she seemed really suicidal and psychotic. So I like that they were able to kind of wrap that up, that bit of a character. Eugene had his couple moments in this episode too. I thought when he was manning the gate, that was great. And then when he falls in the cabinet and everyone comes in, and or before he gets threatened with he gets threatened, and then everyone comes in and stops him, because like he had like this part, and we all know in season 3 or 4 where they thought he had like the answers, and then it turns out he didn't have anything. He knew nothing. So I like that they're able to keep him on as like a comic relief guy. I also really like where he said, we have the same type of hair as well.
Yeah, we both have crazy hair. I respect the hair game. I can't take credit for this next thing, but Talking Dead said it was very, very nicely put, where Eugene, we saw him care for someone more than himself, which is a change in direction for this character, and a growth for Eugene. We saw him care about Tara. He was very, very worried about Tara, and when he saw her fine, he was speechless. He was in a different kind of way. So love that. I love Eugene as a character. So any kind of progression towards making him a better character, I welcome.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. And I was happy that Glenn was doing stuff this episode too. And then also, speaking of stuff to be done, I like how Rick and Morgan had like a contrasting relationship going on, where Morgan kept saying like, "I know you, Rick. I know you, Rick," and then Rick keeps going back, "You don't know me. You don't know me." I like that. And then I'm calling him Greg, but his name is not Greg.
Carter.
What's it? Carter. Thank you. When Carter died he got bit, and then Rick killed him, and then Morgan saw that. I thought that was an interesting parallel right there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of little interesting bonds that are being formed. Yeah. Like you said, Abraham and Sasha, that's interesting in itself. I kind of want to see more of Carol and Morgan.
Yes, that was the one thing I had to say about this episode. Carol was barely in here, and it was unfortunate because last season in every episode that I didn't like, at least Carol did something that I enjoyed. In this episode, she wasn't at all, and I enjoyed the whole episode.
Yeah, she's gold every time she's on screen now. She's really a treat of a character. However, next week looks like we'll get a lot more of her, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. And Carl.
No, thank you.
But no, thank you. Yeah, Joe and I have issues with Carl.
what was interesting for me in this episode, and this is really the main kind of observation that I had in terms of this episode that I want to mention. Rick came off to me like Shane when they were on the porch, and he was saying he was going to die anyway. He's going to die regardless. That to me came off as Shane. I saw him in that scene. I said, "This is Shane's character right now coming through." And I found that interesting. It really felt strongly like Shane to me. I don't know if that's just me or if other people kind of felt that connection too, but that doesn't feel like Rick, and it's interesting. He's
I
always
don't know if I caught Shane in that because I really haven't thought about Shane in quite a long time. But I can see how that you say it's not Rick. I can see that.
yeah, and I guess this is being done to kind of put an emphasis on his clashing style with Morgan in terms of, I guess, leadership or just a way to handle things. And I think they're going to go towards more of a prison type system because Morgan mentioned a cell. So
Yes, yeah. Also, my character that I like, Miss Shawn. I like where Morgan said to Miss Shawn, like, "Did you steal my last protein bar?" And she was like, "No, I didn't touch it." I thought that was funny to just those two's interactions.
see, that might be another kind of connection we get. They planted the seeds for a lot of fun little connections. I liked Glenn and Nicholas.
Yes, I like that too. I like that a lot.
They fought nearly to the death in the finale last season, and now it seems like they've earned each other's kind of respect through that. Even though Glenn still disliked him to a point because of what ultimately he was kind of responsible for Noah's
Death.
demise. Yeah,
Yep.
that he kind of gained some respect for him in that fight scene, I think, and especially towards the end of this episode where Nicholas saved.
Yeah. I think the episode had a good job of setting up a lot of character relationships without focusing too highly on an individual duo. Or an individual person for their own development, which I think is very good.
They had, I was going to say they had their whole crew, but I mean, Carol, Maggie, they were kind of left behind, but they were still in the episode. But they
sorry, they totally blended, and I just have to jokingly say, I'm so sorry, but where's the baby? I mean, who takes care of Judith?
We saw Rick with Judith
for a moment in an hour and a half episode. We see the baby once. Like, come on, that's not good parenting.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
One character that, and this is kind of my last point I wanted to mention. We had seen last season the connection that Daryl and Aaron were forming, and in this episode, yes. Did we see Aaron? I didn't.
We didn't. I don't remember seeing him, and I actually was thinking about that when we were watching it.
Yeah, I didn't see Aaron, and it looked like he was in the teaser for next week. So hopefully we get more with that. But I liked Aaron a lot, and I really liked the connection he was forming with Daryl. So I'm curious, and it looks like he's bloodied next week. So that's either Walker blood, maybe the wolves.
Yeah, the wolf. It looks like we have some foreshadowing of the wolves going on with this episode. Or
yeah,
more foreshadowing.
We'll see. We'll have to see. Any more points about this episode of The Walking Dead that you want to mention?
No, I thought it was. I think I said everything I wanted to say. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to more of it. So I hope you all enjoyed our recap and review of it. I am Robert. That is Joe, and Joe will lead us out of here.
All right. And if you enjoyed this review, subscribe because it takes around this much effort to do so. We'll be back next week with more Walking Dead.
And hopefully an earlier hour.
Yes, because it won't be an hour and a half next week. Hopefully, I don't think so at least. But
I hope not.
We'll see. But until next time, that's Rob. I'm Joe. And damn, I was gonna say you've been traumatized, which is kind of my sign off, but you're here too. So it's kind of like you've been traumatized and lightenized. There we go. Right?
Yes, because that is my last name and that is your last name.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Bye everyone.